queen, my queen. Oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel, so strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama. Yeah. And Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying back to work, 'cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah, oh. Where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too. Oh, she is sophisticated, strong, yeah, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful. Not only that you are educated, yes you are, eccentric, empowering. You're mine, she's a queen. You're mine, you're my. Treat her like no price could be put on how much she's worth. So valuable, she's the soul of the earth. Yeah. All a part of God's genius plan. Powerful as she can be, the man's H-E-L-P. Yeah, yes, sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She is humble, honest, and helpful. What I like about her is she's educated. She's my ebony, empowering. Yeah. She's my queen. Sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She's amazing.
Well, good evening. Hello, 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 hello. This is R.C. Blakes, and this is Let's Talk with R.C. Blakes again. I want you to invite some others to come in and be a part of our conversation tonight. It's going to be amazing. I always enjoy Monday nights. I love coming into my community. I love it. I love it. I love it. Invite some others to come in tonight to be a part of this discussion because we're dealing with some stuff tonight that I think is very, very important for women who have any idea of dating. You have any idea of dating, being married, getting into a relationship of any kind? I want to deal with something tonight that I kind of allude to a lot, and that is, I want to talk about how can a woman discern the kind of man she's dealing with. Is he husband material? Is he not? Because for most women today, the metric for uh, judging a man is, is he 6 feet tall? So if he's 5'11" and a half, he doesn't qualify. Does he make six figures? Which, I mean, I don't know what that's going to mean anyway with inflation. If he makes $99,999, that's not enough. Does he have a six-pack? He may not have a belly, but if he just got 4 knots there, that's not enough. If those are your metrics, you, my dear, need to stay out of the dating pool, the relationship conversation altogether, because you are clueless. But most women have not really sat down to really think through thoroughly how does a woman look deeper. You're not a shallow woman, and don't get me wrong. When I start talking that kind of talk about type, I'm very animated with that, but I do get it. Everybody wants somebody that they can appreciate visually, right? I would be a hypocrite to say otherwise, because I certainly love looking at my wife. But my point in being dramatic and doing all of the antics that I do when it comes down to making that, emphasizing that point, my point is there are things that come way ahead of the visuals, right? And, if there's any area to compromise in, it would be in the area of the visuals, because the visuals only last for a certain amount of time anyway. And then we do what? We get older. I was looking at, was in New Members at New Home Houston Church. I was in New Members breakfast the other day, and they were playing like this documentary that was not really that long ago, but I look so different. I had hair on my head, Now, they say this is the style. Well, it's my style because of age. Those things change, the visuals change. But the things that I'm steering you towards relative to the kind of man, not necessarily the type of man, those are the things that are going to be enduring. Those are the things that 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road, 50 years down the road, those are the things that are going to keep you attracted to and attractive to your partner, your wife, or your husband. That's why I emphasize kind over type. Type is fleeting, it's changing, but kind is enduring. So I made a list of things that that I think every woman should pay attention to. But let me just read, just to kind of lay a foundation, a biblical foundation for our conversation or our discussion tonight. It says in 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, it says, "Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth." In other words, I'm getting ready to die. "Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man." Meaning what? Manhood is demonstrative. You can see manhood demonstrated. But if you're not looking, you think about 6 feet tall, six figures, six pack. None of these things demonstrate anything necessarily. Well, to some extent, I guess the six pack demonstrates some level of discipline to physical health. I guess the six figures demonstrates some measure of commitment to financial gain. But I mean, those things are still minuscule when you compare them to the character that is necessary for a man to have to be considered to be your husband, right? But he says, show thyself a man. In other words, model manhood. Manhood is something we can see modeled, we can see it demonstrated. Is that right? Then if you go to 1 Kings 10 and 1, speaking of this same Solomon, who was the son of David, he said to him, show yourself a man. Now we see Solomon in the context of dealing with a woman. It says in 1 Kings 10 and 1, "And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions." And when you read the whole thing, which we've read a million times on this platform, the Bible says he answered all of her questions to the point that there was no more spirit within her. She was, nearly fainting at his answers, and she had to even declare, "The half has not been told," because a true man can demonstrate, can back up, can model his manhood. But when he's dealing with a generation of women, that requires no demonstration. When he's dealing with a generation of women who are not necessarily queen conscious, because queens ask questions that only kings can answer. He slides through the cracks of the broken consciousness of this generation of women without ever having to prove what kind of man he is. So let's start this conversation tonight on this wise: the levels of manhood. There are levels of manhood. Did you not know that? Did you not know that? That there are levels of manhood. And level number one, which is right in the heart, the dead center of the bullseye of those, for those of you women who are only looking for type, you may very well only have what I call level one, the chronological man. In other words, this is a man who has reached adulthood in age, but lacks maturity in thought and behavior. You just got yourself a chronological man. He's a legal man if you're older than him. He's just a man on the calendar. There's no sense in expecting of him to meet any responsibility, because he lacks the ability to respond responsibly. He's just a chronological man. And that's why, and I know you're pushing back, keep on pushing. I'll be right here still resisting. But this is exactly why you do all of this work, and you break all of the rules, and you break all of your covenants with God, to get a man that's just a chronological man. He's just a man in terms of the calendar, and then you get him and you finesse him all the way to the altar, assuming you have you a husband because you had you a wedding. Just because you had a wedding doesn't mean you got a husband. And then you come back with, conversations like, oh, he won't help with this, and oh, he doesn't have any sense of responsibility, and he's not attentive to my emotional needs. Well, he was just a chronological man when you got him, babe. He was just a chronological man when you got him. Now you're saying he's a dummy. Oh, he's so stupid. Well, he was smart enough to fool you. Who the dummy in this scenario? He was smart enough to fool you all the way to the middle of the bed and got you to go all the way and have some old pseudo marriage wedding. And now you sitting talking about he's too stupid, he's too dumb, he can't do this, he can't do that. Why you didn't figure that out before you gave up your whole body like you did? You know how you gave your body up. Why you couldn't figure that out before you gave your whole body up? You were in desperation. And desperation silences the voice of wisdom, turns down the voice of discernment, shuts off your intellect completely. But there's the chronological man. So the man you dealing with, the man let me get closer. The man that you right there, the man you dealing with, is he just a chronological man? Is he just a man in terms of the calendar? Now, let's get some characteristics so you can answer this question for yourself. This man may engage in typical adult responsibilities, but he lacks deeper understanding or wisdom. He often relies on external validation and societal norms without personal introspection. I love the way the Apostle Paul wrote it in, 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. The Apostle Paul says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. The man you're dealing with, he may be grown, he may have a beard, he may have the 2 or more decades under his belt that's necessary to be considered a man. But what are his ways like? Do you have to pry his fingers off of the PlayStation? And I want to keep that in balance now, because some very responsible men oftentimes relieve stress by playing video games. I'm one of them. I haven't done it in many years, but it was absolutely an amazing way to relieve stress after I had done all of my responsibilities. So if you got a man that's meeting all of his responsibilities and he's playing video games, leave that man alone. He's at home and he's meeting his responsibilities. Let that man relieve his stress in whatever way he needs to in his house. Leave him alone. Now, but on the other hand, if you got a man that don't have a job, does nothing to add to to lend to the well-being of the household, and he's playing video games all day, hey, you just got yourself a chronological man. Mentally, he's still in 3rd grade. He says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. Secondly, second level of manhood is the emotionally unavailable man. And this is a man who has not developed the emotional intelligence or maturity needed to support himself or others effectively. He can't support others emotionally. Quite often, he can't support others financially. He doesn't even understand why it's necessary to support others. He can't support you. He's seeking to be supported. He's emotionally unavailable for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's parental wounds. Sometimes it's arrested development in terms of the way he was raised by his parents or whatever. Sometimes it's trauma. He went through as a child or a teen that arrested his development. But for whatever case, in his current state, though he's chronologically a man, he's emotionally unavailable to you. Now, this is where women tend to buy into the idea of potential. And I believe in potential. I still have some, and I'm trying to maximize it and manifest it on a daily. But this is where women tend to buy into the potential of the man. When a man is emotionally unavailable, women tend to think they can take him on as a project, and I can change him. I can heal him. I can raise him. And what you do is you basically just take on a son. You wanted a wedding that bad, you basically just take on a son. Now, the emotionally unavailable man, the guy that is at this level, struggles with emotional regulation and may react impulsively. He gets angry, he gets happy, he gets sad, he gets glad, he goes into deep depression, then he goes into utter euphoria. He's just all over the place. He's not emotionally available to himself or anyone else. He's unregulated. This guy often avoids commitment and responsibility, leading to instability in relationships. This is the man that's 50 years old, got 10 different children, by 8 different women, never been married, This man may rely on unhealthy coping mechanisms to manage stress or conflict. Weed, drugs, alcohol, extreme sexual appetites. He just has no regulation. He can't control himself for himself. Can't be there for himself. Therefore, he's really not a great candidate to be, for you to take into your life, thinking that he's going to be able to be a guy for you. This is the guy that just, at the drop of a hat, you look around, you're out on a date with him, he's fighting somebody. Drop of a hat, he's fighting. Who over 30 years old is out here fighting? Who's 40 fighting? Who's 50 out here fighting? 60, even acting like you can still fight. I don't fight no more. I calls. Yes, I calls. Yes, no fighting. The Bible puts it this way in Proverbs 29:11, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. In other words, a fool is a person that has no self-regulation. He has no control. He's emotionally out of control. Therefore, he's unavailable to you. If he can't control his own emotions for himself, he has no access to his emotions in terms of integrating them into a relationship with you. And you got to be smart enough as a woman to know when you're dealing with this kind of guy. The third level of man is the self-aware man. So we've gone from the chronological man to the emotionally unavailable man to now the self-aware man. And this is a man who recognizes his strengths and weaknesses and strives for personal growth. This guy knows himself. He's self-aware. He's conscious of his own pros and cons. Some of his characteristics are he engages in self-reflection and seeks feedback from others. He doesn't get offended when you give him the truth as it relates to how you view him or how you see matters concerning him. This is the guy that takes responsibility for his actions and works through emotional challenges. This is the guy that when he gets into crisis, he doesn't go off into tangents or doesn't go off into doing things that could land him in jail. This is the guy that takes responsibility and he manages his emotions and his crisis wisely and in a healthy way because he's what? Self-aware. He knows his limits. This is the guy that cultivates healthy relationships and learns from past experiences. He's informed by his past experiences. He's not traumatized by them. I love the way the psalmist put it in Psalm number 139, 23 and 24. It reads like this. He says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." You know, when I think about it, when I look at, just the first three that we've outlined, I see myself. I was a chronological man, and I was absolutely an emotionally unavailable man, which is the reason I had so many failed relationships and had done so many women that deserved so much better so wrong. I was emotionally unavailable. I was actually emotionally unavailable when I said to Lisa, I don't think I want to be married. It was during that break that I became a self-aware man. Yeah. So when the psalmist says, search me, O God, know my heart, what he's really saying, he's not saying, God, you don't know certain things about me, so you need to investigate. No, what he's really saying is, God, show me as a man. Make me to know me, make me self-aware. Because it's only when I'm aware of who I am, it's only when I'm aware of my strengths and my weaknesses that I know exactly how I can fit healthily into the context of a woman's life. It's only when a woman can see a man that is self-aware does she begin to have a man that can remotely fit into the context of her life in some serious relational sense. Now, if all a woman is looking for is sex and Instagram pictures, go get you an emotionally unavailable man. Just get you a chronological man. They can fit the bill. But if you're a Christian woman and you're really trying to live your life according to the word of God and you want righteous outcomes for your life and you want to preserve and promote your virtue, you better wait on at least a self-aware man, a man that knows where he's missed it. And you know when a man is self-aware, he's able to admit it. He's able to admit it. And then level 4 is the responsible man. Every woman ultimately wants a man to take responsibility, but she didn't choose a responsible man. A man that would take responsibility is a man that's able to respond. Responsibility is a man that's able to respond. A man that's able to respond is a responsible man. But if you don't choose a responsible man from the beginning, don't ever look for him to take responsibility. A responsible man is a man who actively takes on responsibility, not just for himself, but for his family and community. I mean, this is why I say, if a man is around here talking about 50-50 and should he provide, that man is not, that's nobody for you to even be having no serious conversations with. Honestly, that man has got so many levels of development he needs to go through. I mean, he ain't even touching on basics, because a responsible man actively takes on responsibilities, not just for himself, but for his family and community. He's definitely going to be responsible for his woman. He's going to feel responsible for her. If he's a responsible man, not 50% of her. So if you go out here and you settle for a man that a 50-50 man, and watch this, and you get to a point where you can't come up with your 50% no more, what is he going to do? Is he going to leave you? Is it over then? Is that we're going to divorce now because you can't come up with your 50%? You know, the rent is $2,000. You can't come up with $1,000 no more. You lost your job. I'm gonna give you 3 weeks to figure this out, because if you can't come up with your 50, I'm out of here. Did you ever have a husband? Did you ever really even have a man? Did you ever really even have a man? Because the last time I checked, back in my day at least, I know y'all, this is a different era now. Men took pride in paying for everything, even when they were dating women. Women, we didn't let no woman pay for nothing, even when I'm trying to get to know you. Now, I'm not going to let you take and bring me where you want to bring me and tell me about what you ain't going to eat and where you're not going. Yeah, I'm going to tell you where to go then, absolutely. But I took pride in taking responsibility for a woman when she was in my care, if it were no more than a first date. Now, the characteristics of this guy is that he prioritizes the well-being of others and demonstrates reliability. If a man is not responsible, he's not reliable. See, all you've been thinking about is 6 feet, 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall, 6 figure, 6 pack. Is there any responsibility in that 6 foot frame? Is there any reliability behind those six knots in his stomach? This guy balances personal ambitions with the needs of those around him. He's a responsible man. This guy is proactive in problem solving and decision making. See, a responsible man is the kind of man that a woman gets, and because he's a responsible man, he's pushing back resources here and there. And when wife had come up, say, "Oh, we have an emergency, we have a crisis, something unexpected," he says, "Babe, don't worry about it, I got it." And he goes and he pulls it out and he says, "Here, take care of it, sweetheart," because he's a what? Responsible man. The dudes y'all choosing, he gonna melt down in the middle of the floor worse than you. Oh God! Oh God! That's the little man you got, your type. Your type gonna melt down in the floor like a ice cube on a summer Texas street or summer New Orleans street. He melting down worse than you. Oh God, geez, oh, everything that can go wrong always goes wrong. You might as well have you a girlfriend in there with you, sweetheart. That's what y'all want, though. That's what you want. That's what you want. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. The King James calls him an infidel. He's worse than an infidel, an unbeliever. He's not responsible. The fifth level is the visionary man. This is a man who sees beyond the present and inspires others with a compelling vision for the future. You know, you need a visionary man. Now, this, if you're going to have you a husband, you're going to have you, okay. He got to have a vision. Here's some of the characteristics. He clearly articulates goals and dreams for the future, involving his family in discussions. He encourages his partner and children to pursue their passions, and he supports their aspirations. A visionary man gets excited about your vision because he's a visionary man. He loves vision. He gets behind his children's vision. He engages in community service or advocacy. He models values of social responsibility. He regularly assesses and adjusts family goals based on changing circumstances or aspirations. Kathy Caprino says a visionary leader sees the possibilities, not just the problems, and inspires others to pursue those possibilities. And then, what would this be? Ooh, I'm on the wrong part of my lesson here. Then there's the integrated man. Of course, with the visionary man, in Proverbs 29:18, it says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keeps the law, happy is he." Where there's no vision, the family goes in all different kinds of directions. If you have a man that doesn't have a vision, family goes everywhere. Number 6 is the integrated man. Then I'll move to the latter part of my lesson, which I almost started doing, is the integrated man. So now let's recap. We've gone from levels of manhood. There's the chronological man. Locate your guys, I go through them. There's the emotionally unavailable man. He's here in body. He's here in the middle of that bed, but he's not emotionally available. There's the self-aware man. There's the responsible man. There's the visionary man. And then there's the integrated man. Let's get some definition on the integrated man. This is a man who harmonizes various aspects of his life: his personal, professional, relational, emotional, and spiritual. He integrates, he pulls all of these aspects of his life together. This guy lives with authenticity and integrity. He aligns his actions with his values. So he's not like a lot of the church dudes that appear to be one way on Sunday and they get your number, and then by Wednesday they're trying to get in the bed with you. That's not an integrated man. An integrated man is the same through and through. What he is on the inside, what he looks like to be on the outside, he is on the inside. What he looks like to be in public, he is in private. What he looks like he is in the light, he is in the dark. He's an integrated man. He has integrated his values with his principles into his behavior. And his personality and his lifestyle is the reflection of that integration. He maintains balance among work relationships and self-care. He acts as a stabilizing force, the integrated man. He acts as a stabilizing force in his community, promoting collaboration and understanding. I love what Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. That's the integrated man. He balances everything appropriately at the right time in the right way. Now let's get to this because I took longer on that part than I wanted to. The kinds of men that make husbands, because clearly it don't take no rocket scientist. You already know. You already know that a chronological man ain't no husband. But that's what most of y'all running for. Your type. Your type is more than likely just a chronological man. Just 21 years old. An emotionally unavailable man is not gonna make for a husband. Make for a husband. You talk about miserable. So let's look at the kinds of men out of this list that I've given you that make husbands. The self-aware man. Self-awareness is always crucial for healthy relationships. Why? Because the self-aware guy is actively seeking feedback. He can actively, without feeling, intimidated, will actively seek feedback from his partner. Self-awareness is the key, Brene Brown says, self-awareness is the key to understanding others. It is the foundation of genuine connection. When I understand me, I can understand you better. That's the reason I'm not a judgmental type Christian. We're talking about this Sunday, the conviction of the Holy Spirit or the condemnation of men. The reason I don't condemn others is because I have self-awareness. I know where I've come from. I'm quite aware of even my present flaws and failures. When I look at you and your failures, I don't see you as a failure. I see me. I see where I've come from. I see where I could go even today, but for the grace of God. So self-aware people, a self-aware man is, I think every wise woman wants a self-aware man because a self-aware man is capable of empathy. He's capable of putting himself in your shoes. He's capable of saying, now, how would I feel if I were in her shoes? If she spoke to me the way I just spoke to her, how would that make me feel? And then he's able to come back and apologize for what he said. Why? Because he's self-aware. If a person has no self-awareness, it's going to be very difficult for them to have empathy. And so I think the self-aware guy is, a great candidate. You start paying attention to a guy and you start looking at, is he self-aware or not? Does he apologize sincerely when he makes mistakes? Does he validate your feelings? See, anybody that you telling them how you feel and they can't connect with your feelings, there are a lot of things about Lisa that doesn't compute to my masculine brain in terms of being even logical. But it's important and it's necessary because she feels this way. And so because she feels this way, I respond to it because I know if I were feeling a certain kind of way, I would want and need her to respond, even if she didn't understand my why behind it. I just need you to respect that I have a need for this as my wife. And so when a woman does not take the time to figure out if a guy is self-aware, she's putting herself behind the 8 ball. And then the next guy that would be a great candidate for a husband is the responsible man. I mean, that speaks for itself. Responsibility, again, is the key to being a reliable partner and or parent. This guy takes the initiative. A responsible man takes the initiative in household tasks and family planning without needing reminders all the time. reminders or not, he's going to take responsibility. This guy prioritizes financial stability, and he makes informed decisions regarding family matters. This guy communicates openly. He's responsible. He communicates openly about the relationship, about family needs, and he works collaboratively towards solutions with his spouse because he's a responsible man. A woman can rely on this guy. Maya Angelou said, responsibility is not just about taking charge, it's about caring deeply for those we love. I am responsible because I care deeply for those I love. So again, do you want your type, or do you want the kind of man that would be responsible, the kind of man that would be self-aware? There's no guarantee that a 6 foot tall, six-pack, six-figure guy is going to be self-aware or responsible. You're going to have to look deeper than the shell of this guy to know the things that we're talking about here and now. And then, of course, the visionary man speaks for itself. How can you be an ambitious woman and join yourself to a man that doesn't have a vision, that doesn't understand vision, that doesn't see beyond the present moment? How can you join yourself? Why would you join yourself to a man that does not have a glimpse of a preferred future, a man who's satisfied with where we are now and sees no more? If he can't see more for himself, he can't see you seeing more for you. And then, of course, the guy that would make for a great husband, we said, number one, we said would be the self-aware man. Number two, we said would be the responsible guy. Number three, we said would be the visionary man. Number four is the integrated man. This is the guy who's harmonized all aspects of his life, body, soul, spirit, behavior. This is the guy who lives his life with integrity. He's the guy that you can respect. It is the integrated man that does not have to demand submission from a woman. He's the man that lives his life in such a clean and honorable way that he sows the seeds of honor into the woman, and the natural inclination of the woman is to produce the fruit of submission. He never has to ask for it. This guy maintains the balance. This guy is open. This guy's priorities are in order. This guy shows resilience in managing stress, modeling healthy coping strategies before his family. This guy is the model. This is the man that if you were to have a son, you want your son to be like this guy. This is the guy every father wants to turn his daughter over into the hands of on his deathbed. The integrated man. Because Elizabeth Gilbert said this, living authentically means being true to who you are in every aspect of your life. This is the guy you'll never have to second guess. This is the guy that if you heard a rumor about him, you'd say, no, not my husband. I know him better than that. I'll have a conversation with him. But your blood pressure will never change because this guy lives his life that kind of way. That's the kind of man. These are the kinds of men that make husbands. So while I know we have our type, and all of us do. You better have your kind. Your type just magically appears, and it's like, oh, wow, he's my type, she's my type. Your kind requires what Sheba did. You gotta go, you gotta dive deep, you gotta prove what's on the inside before you make or draw conclusions. And so it's up to you. It's up to you to figure out what you're going to do with this. You're going to continue to just rock out with your type of man? Or are you going to search deeper and wait on your kind? Now let me just give you this as a bit of wisdom. Some of you say, well, I know right now all I got is my type, but I'm going to search for my kind. You'll never find your kind as long as you're distracted by your type. You can't play God like that. God loves his sons like he loves his daughters. And God will never release a king into your care as long as you're playing around with justice. You got to come clean on this one. Listen, I've enjoyed this time with you tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed our time with the Royal Court on Sunday, every second Sunday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. and every fourth Sunday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Lisa and I meet by way of Zoom with the members of the channel. Those of you who've been thinking about becoming Royal Court members, you should do so. We had an amazing time Sunday. I think we were together about an hour and a half. I'm teaching and we're answering questions. We're talking. We're getting to know one another. And for those of you that are members, we're going to put the Zoom recording in the community tab. If it's not already there, it'll be there by tomorrow for members only, and you'll be able to go back and see what we discussed Sunday for those of you who are members that maybe you didn't make the call. Don't forget to go to the link for BetterHelp counseling. The link is in the description. And those of you that need counseling for any matter, BetterHelp has proven to be an amazing resource for RC Blake's Ministries. We are not counselors, but those of you that may need counseling, if you use that link, it will afford you 10% off of the cost of their counseling. Go to the description and find the link. Some of the moderators may be putting the link in the chat, and utilize that resource. Don't forget, for those of you that have a desire to go to South Africa, we are going to South Africa in December of this year. We're going to Ghana in a few months, in July, but we're going to be in South Africa in December. I think it's December 1st through the 16th. You can go to rcblakes.com and you can register to hang out with the Blakes family in South Africa, in Joburg and Cape Town. I think they're going to have, what's the thing where you go out there with all the animals and all of that? They're doing all of that. It's going to be amazing. Go and register for that as soon as possible. Don't forget to support my latest book, Training for Reigning. Go to Amazon. If you've not gotten my Queenology, Father-Daughter Talk, Imperfectly Holy, Soul Ties, Me, My Mind, Biblical Perspectives on Narcissistic Abuse, check all of that out while you're there at Amazon. But pick up Training for Reigning. This is the message for women in this hour. Thanks to all of my moderators and all of you that have been just such a blessing tonight with sowing into the lives of Lisa and I. We love you so much and we appreciate you. Thanks to my moderators who always do an amazing job. I just want you to know how much Lisa and I love and appreciate you. I'm messing around with my music here. What am I missing? What am I missing? Well, I'm R.C. Blakes. I'm R.C. Blakes saying to you once again, you're on top and you're going higher. God has more in store for you. So until next time, I love you. See you later.